I just want to talk about the final few years of the life of Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah. The beginning of his life was marked with difficulties and tragedy, but the end of his life was also very difficult, rahimahullah. He went through 40 years of just, striving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Towards the age of about 56 or so, Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah started going, about 53 actually, started going through a great deal of test. Because, he is becoming successful, people are recognizing who he is. Now everyone, thousands of people are flocking to his lectures and his classes. And what tends to happen, unfortunately, hasad, jealousy creeps into the hearts of people. There were pious sheikhs, righteous people, that when they saw Bukhari was getting this attention that we want, then they started saying things about him. They slandered him, made up accusations against him, said that, this guy is a deviant, he holds weird beliefs. As a result, Al-Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah was forced out of wherever he went. He would go to Samarkand, he would not even be able to go to his own homeland, Bukhara. He was prevented from going to Bukhara, where he was born, where he was raised. They didn't let him in. He was forced out of Nishapur. He was forced out of many places. He rahimahullah spent the final 3 years of his life jihad fi sabilillah, in the ribat. He went to Firabar, and he is there. By the way, when you think of Bukhari, I don't want you to think of like some old, skinny, feeble man. Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah, his description is what? That he was tall, he was lean, he was athletic. He often wore an imama. Every morning he would go out rahimahullah with a bow and arrow and practice his archery. He would go out shooting every morning. He rahimahullah spent from the age of 56 until 59, he spent it al-jihad fi sabilillah. Writing, teaching in the mornings, and the evenings he would be out defending the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That was his life. However, at the end of his life, he had literally nowhere to go. It's the very final weeks of his life, 2 weeks before his 60th birthday. Rahimahullah, he is outside of Samarkand. There's a small little village called Khartank. It's a very, very tiny little place and a tiny little masjid. Most of the people don't even know who he is inside the masjid. The great Bukhari, that Imam, that individual. Every masjid today, every library that you go to in the Muslim world, even outside of it, you have a copy of al-Bukhari. At that time, people didn't even know who he was in their own masjid. He is there, rahimahullah. The final night of Ramadan comes. Final night of Ramadan. And he does iftar with the people. Iftar with the people. Prays Salatul Maghrib. He makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, Allahumma qad daqat biya al-ardu bima rahubat, faqbidni ilayk. Allah, it doesn't matter where I go, I don't have a place to go. This entire earth, for all of its vastness, has become very constricted for me. I have nowhere to go. So just take me to you. Like I'm done with this world. And then he packs his bags and he is leaving. He prays Salatul Isha, he is heading out because he wants to do Eid. The next day is Eid, Eid al-Fitr. He wants to go do it with his family. He's going to his horse, he feels a little bit weak. So he puts his bags down, he goes to his bed, he lays down, he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and he leaves this dunya. He dies on the last night of Ramadan, the night before Eid. Rahimahullah. There's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which he says, Man sama Ramadan iman wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi. A person who fasts the entire month of Ramadan, that person has all of their sins forgiven. Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he says that لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ فَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ فِطْرِهِ وَفَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ لِقَاءِ رَبِّهِ. Every fasting person has 2 moments of happiness. The moment they open their fast and the moment they stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted that to Imam Bukhari, both of these things, in one night. In one night he had iftar, and then just a few hours after that he met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a blessed ending for that individual. And today, it doesn't matter where you go, you will remember his name. That is the kind of legacy that you and I want to have. And we want to have that not just for ourselves, but also for our progeny and for the future generations that are to come. But it requires effort. Those small incremental changes, each and every one of us needs to make. Make sure that your income is halal. Make sure that you're eating halal. Make sure that you are talking to people in a manner that is befitting of them. أَنزِلُ النَّاسَ مَنَازِلَهُم. Look at the teachers of Imam Bukhari, how they showed respect to him, even though he was just 12 years old. Look at how Imam Bukhari gave opportunities to his own students. Look at how Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah, that he raised students around him just like his own teachers raised him. Look at his community, the support that they gave him. And look at how his mother, the care and the concern that she had for her child, not just his dunya, but also his akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to be like that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to learn from that and to make many, many Bukharis to come after this.